Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a brand focused video on Makeup by Mario. And I wanted to share with you my ranking of all his products, tell you what's my least favorite, what's my most favorite, if there's any 10 out of 10 products in his line, which I can already tell you there is. I am a huge fan of Makeup by Mario and I love his line of products. I've pretty much tried every single release he's come out with. I'm not on his PR. I purchased all this with my own money. These are all my own thoughts and opinions where I think everything stacks up against each other. So he has had some new releases like his setting spray and his powder, which cannot wait to show you application. I also did a full face of Makeup by Mario, so you're gonna see that in this video as well as I share with you my ranking. So we're gonna go in order of least to most favorite and all the products that I have. I just wanted to start off first by this. I thought it's always kind of funny where I film a Makeup by Mario video, how people always going back and forth on how you say his name. Is it Mario? Is it Mario? What is it? And I came across a video where he says he doesn't have a preference. So you can say it any way you want. I was always curious, so I searched that up because everyone is always debating that in the comments, but there is no debate needed because he doesn't have a preference. Starting off with my least favorite product, but something I don't think is terrible by any means. It's just not something that I honestly use that much. This might have been my first product that I purchased from him or his first release. I honestly don't know, but for me, this sort of product isn't very useful for me because for my eye base, which this is, I just use a concealer. And for the most part, from what I see Makeup by Mario do, he also uses a concealer, but this is something that you can use to prep your eyelids, which is useful. I did like it when I initially bought it. I just honestly don't reach for it that much anymore, so that's why it's in my last place spot. These are a little stiff for me. I prefer the creaminess of his concealer that he released, and he released that after, so if I would have had that, I probably wouldn't have purchased this. And I do really like the setting powder that's included. I think it provides a nice set to the eyelid. You will see an application, but this is something I don't reach for and I only used for this video to showcase it for this full face. So this is the Master Eye Prep and Set in medium. It's okay. I personally don't reach for it and I won't be repurchasing. For my next least favorite product is his highlighter formula, which I was really disappointed by this. He also came out with a balm, which is clear and can give you that kind of wet look to the skin, but also leaves a little bit of tack, which I don't care for. And his highlighter formula, he calls this the Soft Glow Highlighter, and I think it's anything but soft glow for me because there are chunks of glitter in this that do show up on my skin, which I am not a fan of anything chunky. So I'm actually quite shocked that this is a product that he came out with because I expected something softer like the name suggests and nothing with glitter in it. So I'm hoping that he does do some new highlight formulation, something a little softer, nothing this intense because I feel like this is quite an intense product for something that I just didn't expect from him. So this is something that I personally was disappointed with the launch, and that's why it's at the end of my favorites of the products that he has. Another product that I don't reach for that often, and that's why it's near the end of my favorites, and I like the formula, just something that I don't personally reach for anymore, is a liquid lip or one of these suede lips that this is marketed as. So I have the shade Nude Suede. I did use it in the center of my lips for today's lip look and I like it for lightening. Haven't used it in a long time if I'm to be honest, and it's something I personally wouldn't repurchase again. There are a few exceptions to the rule, but in general, I much prefer a bullet lipstick as opposed to a liquid lipstick just because I find them to be more drying. That one is more moussey, so it's not as drying as some other liquid lipsticks. It's just still one of my least favorite formulas. I just prefer bullet lipstick. So I was happy that he eventually came out with a bunch of lipsticks, which you will see is higher up on my list. However, my next product is also a lip product. These are the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums. And from this point on, I like everything from his line. It just depends on how much I like it. So I do like these. They're near the end of my list. I don't dislike them because they're at the end. They just have a lower rating for me. And then some of his other products that I just use more often, like the formula more. These ones I just don't like very much because they kind of melt, get smushed. You go through these really fast. Fenty recently released a formula similar to this that holds its own a little bit better than this formula. So if I were to pick and choose, I'd go with Fenty myself over this kind of formula. The formula just kind of melts everywhere, which isn't my favorite, but it is a serum sort of formula. I think the colors are so pretty. I have Bronze Glow, Mauve Glow, and Rose Glow. I love the colors just for how quickly I can use these up. Not my favorite, and they're a little bit mushy. If you're new to my channel, I'm a lover of bronzer. It's one of my favorite products. And his bronzer is near the end of my favorites because there's just others on the market I personally reach for and like better. Nothing, again, wrong with this formula. I don't reach for it that often. However, I love what he did overall with his shades and how he labels them medium if you're a medium skin tone, which is easy to pick and choose what I need for my skin tone. Makes it simple, and I love that about his line. It's simple to choose, easy to find your shade, and it just works all together. I used a little bit of this today because I did use all his products and I didn't want to overwhelm my face with everything, but it's a nice smooth formula, a little bit harder pressed than I would prefer. I would prefer something a little bit easier to pick up. I love the undertone of this. It's like a neutral bronze, which I think is super flattering. For my skin tone, I'm pretty much a true neutral. I lean olive occasionally depending on the summer, but I do really love the tone of this. But the formula, I just think there's better out there, so that's why it's in that spot. Next, I know a lot of people love this. However, again, there's better ones out there. This is a little stiffer of a contour stick formula, and this is the Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in medium. I also don't care for the brushes on these. I find when I've taken the time to use this to apply the product, it actually makes little dots on my skin. I just really don't like the brush on that side. I think the whole packaging could be redone because for whatever reason, mine doesn't even twist up on this. Packaging aside, because otherwise, based on packaging, this would be my least favorite. I again like the color of this. It's a little too stiff for me. I like something a little bit more creamy, a little bit more emollient. Again, I don't think this is a bad product by any means. I just like other things. Sticking with the same reasons for the last one are the blushes. Same reasons I suggested for the bronzer. They're just in a blush stick formula. These are the Soft Pop blush sticks. He came out with other blushes. I just reached for more, and because of the packaging and how stiff the formula is, I just don't reach for them as much. Next, we have his powder blushes. I think they're lovely and soft. I have Mellow Mauve, and I think this is a beautiful, underrated formula that he does. I wish I had more shades in this. I always love how my cheeks look with this blush, but there are other things in his line that I use more, but this is a really good formula. Nothing bad to say about it. One of the new products from Makeup by Mario, this is the Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray, and this is how I feel this product rates in all his makeup for me. I like this. I like how soft the spray is. It's a fine mist. It sets everything beautifully. I think it works phenomenally with his line, especially with his foundation and powder. I think it sets everything down. It wears well. I have, again, nothing bad to say about this. I just feel like there's other things that feel a little bit better on my skin and have my makeup wear longer that I've noticed. This is a solid product, a solid setting spray. I mean, I can't really fault it in any way just by saying there's other things I think make my makeup look a little bit better and make it wear a little bit longer. So really hard to place this one, honestly. And it's still a newer product. Would like to test it out a little bit more, but first impression, that's where it falls in his line of products. The lipsticks that Makeup by Mario came out with, the Ultra Suedes. This is in the shade Erin. I'm wearing it on my lips right now. I like these better than the satin lipsticks, which I no longer have. My super satin, I don't know where it went, but I feel like the lipsticks kind of fall in this placement. I do like the Ultra Suede formula better than the satin, surprisingly. I love how smoothing this is on the lips, especially if you have very liney lips like I do. I feel like it smooths out the lips really nicely, makes it super flattering, and because of that, they make my lips look really nice and full. It's a really comfortable formula, and this is where his lipsticks fall. I love this color and highly recommend this. All these next ones I'm probably gonna gush about because these are holy grail products for me. I absolutely love every single one of these. When I initially got this product though, I didn't care for it that much, but I think it's because I was very tan and had too light of a shade. So I picked up medium for myself right now. It is the perfect color for me. It is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and I love this for adding glow back to my skin with a little bit of bronze. So this is kind of how I envisioned the highlights to be. So something like maybe this. I forego highlight when I'm using this, even though I didn't for this video. I put a little bit of that one on just to show you, but truly with this kind of product, you don't need a powder or cream highlight to add to your makeup. It's kind of an all-in-one with this, and that's why I think it's really special and why a lot of people really like it, because it adds that healthy hydration to the skin, a cream look, which is super flattering on my aging skin and just something that I feel like is great for every day. Very popular product among his products. I'm sure this is probably some people's absolute favorite, but I actually like one of his other bronzing type products a little bit more than that. And this came out recently. It is the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. And I like it in this sort of formulation because I can pump it out, which is great, which I use today to mix in with moisturizer as a priming sort of base for myself, which is a product he's actually missing. So I'm curious to see when he's going to come out with a priming product, moisturizer, anything for the base makeup, as well as a mascara, which a mascara I'm actually shocked hasn't been released sooner, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people are in their top 3 products they use. So I'm curious to see what he does with that. I feel like off the top of my head, it would be something like this, like a MAC Giga Black if he ever came out with a mascara. That's what I'm hoping for anyways. But back to this shaping serum. I like it because you can pump it out, or you can use it structurally and use the doe foot to actually apply it to the face. Put it on the back of your hand. Whatever application method you kind of choose with this, you can use it for, and it's such a beautiful, versatile product, and that's why it's in this placement. This has to be one of my top cream blushes of all time. It is so beautiful, so flattering on the skin. For the same reasons I love the skin enhancer are the reasons I love these blushes. These are this Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils, and I have Rose Crush, Perfect Pink, and Just Peachy. I never picked up the new ones even though I wanted them so much, just because I have 3 of them already, and quite frankly I don't need another, but I did really want to try them. I usually gravitate towards peachy shades like this. However, on me, I feel like the most flattering is Rose Crush, which I tried not to use today because this is typically what I'm using in my videos or on an everyday is this color. So I mixed the two that I don't use as much as of lately for the look today. I love how it turned out, and these just give that glow to the skin like the bronzer does with a little bit of color. You can forego highlight with these. I just think the formula is so flattering. Makes the skin look really youthful, and I highly recommend these. These, even though they're very emollient and thin, I don't think compromises the wear, because some formulas that are on the thinner side like this, I feel like don't wear as long, but these actually hold on to the skin quite nicely and how they grip. I don't feel like they're overly sticky or tacky or too balmy. Really is the perfect consistency for a blush that is cream for me, and that's why it's in that placement as well. I'm a huge fan of the Makeup by Mario eye pencils. I have 3 shades here. I don't think they make Deep Plum anymore, but I have that one. I'm wearing a Perfect Brown in my waterline, and I also have Soft Brown. I think Mario does the best browns ever. He is so good at his brown lip liners, eyeliners, browns, and eyeshadows. He knows tonally what works, and these truly are the best brown eyeliners that I have in my collection that I've personally used, and especially the Perfect Brown I use more than any other. It's my smallest pencil I have. I love this so much. I love how these have a little brush on the end that you can smoke things out. I don't typically use it with the eye pencils, and I love that both the eye pencils, lip pencils come with a sharpener. So I have a million of these on hand, but if anyone in my family or friends ever needs a sharpener, I'm like, here, have a Makeup by Mario one. So they do come in handy. It's the sharpener I use for all my eyeliners, lip liners, any brand is this sharpener. I really like it. I love that he does include it with all his purchases and his products. So don't throw out the packaging. There's a sharpener at the bottom, just so you know. So I love these eyeliners. I think they're phenomenal. But the packaging, I do often get confused with the lip liners. I almost picked up one because they're side by side for my ranking. The packaging is very similar to the eyeliners, the lip liners, and these are one of my favorite products he does. So these are so pretty. I'm wearing both colors I have on my lips today. I do want more of these shades, but again, trying to be good. So we have Travis and Almond. I think they're the perfect kind of browns. Almond I fell in love with because of its undertone, which is not as warm, which I personally like, but I use both to create some shading for the lip I'm doing today. It's very creamy, very long wearing, blends out easily, has that little brush on the end, the lip brush, so you can feather things out. Just really is one of those formulas that I can depend on, and I just love the colors he does. This product right here is one of my top 10 favorite foundations ever, and I've repurchased it. It is the Surreal Skin Foundation. I have 12O. I love the shade match for this. This has a mica, I believe, in it, which gives that kind of iridescence it looks like, but it doesn't show up as glitter on the skin like that highlight. This gives glow, it gives hydration, it looks youthful, it wears beautifully, it has the perfect amount of buildability. One pump you can have more natural, 2 pumps you can have full coverage. It really plays so nicely with my skin that every product in my collection, I've never found anything that doesn't work with this foundation. It's something that I know if I wear, I'm gonna feel good about my skin. I think it looks beautiful. I'm obviously wearing it today, and it just is one of my favorite foundations ever. Never ever change this. It is perfection. Considering skin tints are so popular, I'm sure there's gonna be one of those, right? It's like play guess what's next for Makeup by Mario. Let's guess in the comments. Are you with me on the ones that I'm suggesting? Because that's what I think is coming up. And maybe another holiday palette. We'll see. This is a controversial opinion. I feel people either love or hate this. I cannot get over this concealer. This is my favorite concealer ever. Ever. Top #1 concealer. This Makeup by Mario concealer. It is so good. And you're wondering, why isn't it #1 in your ranking? But there's other things I actually use more than this, because there's some contenders that are pretty close. Sometimes I need maybe a bump up, more coverage. Sometimes I want something slightly thinner, a little bit more natural. This gives my eye truly a lifted look. It is so pretty. It has the perfect amount of medium buildable coverage, and I love how my eyes look like after I wash this off, which I know is super random, but there's certain makeup products that I feel like actually make my skin look better over time when using it, and this is one of those products. It just makes my eyes look more alive and bright. It's called the Awakening Concealer, and I truly feel like that's what it does to my under eye. It really awakens the under eye area. I use this to highlight the face as well. It just really complements the foundation. I love the finish of it. It doesn't have that luminosity, which I don't like typically for underneath my eye. I don't find it drying. I find it super flattering. And as I said, the #1 thing about this is just the lifted look it gives my under eyes. I love the formula for that aspect. It has the perfect amount of thickness for me, which I do prefer a thicker concealer typically, just because I find it helps fill in the troughs underneath my eyes. So I like having that kind of coverage underneath my eyes to really just flatten everything out. Finish wise, formula wise, I love it. It's just a phenomenal concealer. This was such a good launch from him, and I love it so much. And then came this new powder from Makeup by Mario. It is so good. This is getting hype right now. People are comparing it to the Givenchy powder that was the old formulation, because now they have a new one, which apparently ruined it. But I was one of those people who thought the old formula was a little bit dry. I know that's a controversial opinion, but this is kind of everything I wanted the Givenchy to be. It's not dry. And it's a powder, which is honestly really hard to do, because sometimes if you're making a powder not look dry and you add that luminosity, it doesn't have the smoothness that you want. I think powder changes your makeup, truly. So for the consistency he did of this, you'd really have to feel it, because again, I'm trying to explain something that you can't feel right now or see. So this kind of bunches up, which you would think would not give a smooth finish, which possibly could be a problem if you don't work this into the puff you're using or work it into the bristles of your brush. But it gives the most flawless, smooth looking finish. It's so pretty. It comes in different shades too, because translucent doesn't translate to translucent on deeper skin tones. To actually have a powder from a makeup artist who curated different tones, I knew he would honestly kill it when it came to powder. And I was watching him do tutorials using powder, saying he couldn't speak on this. I knew a powder was coming, and every time I saw a model with this powder on, I knew this would be a new favorite product of mine. This for loose powder, for especially all over the face, I think is phenomenal. You can use this underneath your eyes, of course, but I like a little bit more brightening. This is just skin tone for me right now. I only have shade 2. If you were debating picking this up and were waiting for my review, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 recommend. It is that good. I cannot wait to share this more in my videos because I just think it leaves the most beautiful finish. And yeah, I like it more than the concealer, which you can see. Huge fan of this release. I think he nailed it. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I don't even feel like I need his setting spray to set my face with this powder. It is that good. Huge fan, obviously. So let's move on to, I think this is my number 2 spot. That was top 3. My number 2 spot are his eyeshadow palettes. You thought this was going to be number 1, didn't you? You're like, what is your number 1? You have no idea, do you? I figured it might come as a surprise, but this is number 2. For me, I have the Ethereal Eyes, the Master Mattes, the Neutrals, and the regular Master Mattes, which I'm using on my eyes today, just to create a typical Cheryl sort of look for my eyes. It's just so blendable, so user-friendly. The colors of this, I love that you get a mixture of warms and neutrals, and then he came out with the neutral palette, which are neutral leaning cool, which I cannot wait for the day that we get the cool tone palette from Makeup by Cheryl. Because that day has got to be coming, right? This is the original Ethereal Eyes. I know the formula got changed and tweaked for the new one. I still have the old version. I loved it when it came out. And this, if I want some glittery copper sort of shades, I'll reach for this. I love the tones in here. It's so pretty, so bridal. And his formula, I just think, is so easy because it's so buildable and you can create the softest makeup with it, which I love. I love an easy no-brainer eyeshadow palette with phenomenal colors. Everyday colors I can use. He does have a metallic palette and another eyeshadow palette that are more colors, which I never picked up. I'm a neutral girl. I'm not going to really wear those that often. I do love his neutral eyeshadow palettes so much, so that is number 2 spot. Then my number 1 spot is a brush. And I have all the brushes that I've purchased from him here. Not all of these are number 1. I'm just going to specifically mention one of the brushes that is my number 1, but ones I have are the F1, the F5 concealer, and the F2. I'm missing the F3, I think, which is another brush that looks like this. I didn't realize I didn't have it, but I'm gonna have to go back and purchase that. I love these because they're dual-ended. That's the kind of brushes I love. This is a decent concealer brush, but I think there's others out there use more than that one. I wish he did a dual-ended concealer brush. I do love these brushes, but I just use this one literally for everything. I could do a whole face with this brush alone. It's good for my foundation, any cream products that I use. You can even use it for powders if you wish, but I'm a lover of liquids and creams, and I feel like I can do my whole face with the one brush and just keep switching and alternating, and it just makes the most seamless base. This is so loved that it doesn't even have a name anymore. It is the F4, I know, because I've had to look it up how many times to link it for you guys. This is my number 1 product from his brand because, as I said, I use this every single day and can get a wide variety of steps completed with it. And things that can save me time, truly, are things that I love. At this point in my life, like, this saves me time and I just appreciate it so much. It is phenomenal for a perfect blend. This is like my BK Beauty 109 brush, which I love, but it has a double end, which is a little bit more fluffy, that can really give you that blend, mesh everything really nicely together. So it has that angle. It's perfect for contour. It's the perfect size for blush. You could even use this for concealer if you wanted. I use it for foundation, then I move on to my contour and blush, and I just feel like I have the most seamless base going on when I use it for that. Just to use all his brushes that I had for this video, I used the F1 for my complexion, but I always reach for this. I haven't been reaching for this brush because of the F4. If you're to purchase one product, this is it for me. It's probably my most used product, makeup brush, pretty much anything that I have in my collection, my most used thing ever in terms of any sort of makeup. Like, this is used. I have to sing its praises. It's number one for that reason. It probably surprised, but also didn't once you realized it was this brush, which I've talked about so much. So that is everything for my ranking of Makeup by Mario. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had so much fun filming this look as well as putting everything in order for me to rank. I did write down other products that I have tried that I'm gonna briefly tell you my review on. I've tried the Master Hold Brow Gel, which I did really like. It works. However, there's such a small amount of product for the price that I went through it too fast that I couldn't justify the price for repurchasing. That's the only reason I don't have it in the lineup, because I thought it was too pricey for how fast I went through it. And then also the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector was unflattering on my skin. I have texture, as you can see in my application of my foundation and how powder truly transforms my skin. Adding that extra highlight glitteriness to my skin is just not something that works for me. I'm sure it works for other people, but for my sort of skin type, it's just an absolute no-go, and it just didn't work out for me. So that wouldn't even make any sort of ranking in my opinion. But that's gonna be it. I hope you guys like this video. If you wanna see more videos like this in the future, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. This is the first of its kind for my channel, and I hope you guys appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, I would absolutely love for you to stick around. Hit the red subscribe button, the bell to be notified of all my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next one.